Good evening, friends. I actually came out of my film about half an hour ago, but in the foyer of the cinema ran into my three of my favourite humans, three lovely gentlemen that I used to work with at this very cinema. And it's the second time it's happened now where I've come out of a film and they've been on the way in, so yeah, I've been having to catch up with them, and funnily enough talking about films like a little quartet of nerds, just like we used to do 20 years ago when we all worked here. Tonight's film was the horror movie Abigail, and it was a lot of fun. It stars Alicia Weir, who played the title role in Matilda in the Netflix movie musical version of Matilda, and was very good in it. She was also in Wicked Little Letters, playing Jessie Buckley's character's daughter, so she's clearly getting some work off the back of Matilda, and fair play to her. She is very watchable. Excellent American accent in this, so she plays the title character Abigail, and at the very beginning of the film she is kidnapped by a crew and taken to a big old stately home, and the story goes from there. So in the tradition of sort of heist movies or these sort of crime films, kidnap movies, it's a crew that has been put together to do a job. Everybody's bringing different skills. You've got somebody who's like the driver, somebody's the tech person, somebody's the bagman, somebody's this, that and the other, the medic, and they've all been put together. They don't know each other. They don't even know who their target is until they get into the house to kidnap Abigail. And then once they get to their destination, which is this big old house, they're told by the gentleman who's employed them that they just need to keep her there for 24 hours and then they'll get $7 million each. Happy days. Obviously things aren't that straightforward, because they never are, and if they were, we wouldn't have a film. So it transpires quite early on that Abigail perhaps isn't, in fact, an ordinary 12-year-old girl. She might actually be a vampire. I mean, she actually is, and the trailer tells you that, so no spoilers. It's really watchable. It's a lot of fun. If I have niggles about it, it's a bit long. I think it's about 2 hours. I feel like it could have been a 90-minute-er. I've seen a couple of punchy 90-minute-ers this year and I quite enjoy them. There was a moment when, I'm trying not to give spoilers, but we reached a point in the story where I was like, I don't really know where else we can go, and we've got over an hour left. And I was in for the ride. It rattles along quite nicely. It is very gory. Films seem to really be leaning into their 18 certificates this year, and they're like, well, if we're going to make horror film and we're going to have violence and blood and guts and gore, let's just go for it. So yeah, there's some really nasty injuries, there's some really horrific deaths, so yeah, it's quite full on in that sense. Like when I was watching Monkey Man the other week, a couple of times I did actually have to like turn my head away from the screen, and I don't consider myself to be particularly squeamish, but yeah, there was some really quite nasty bits and bobs going on in this. The cast are all very good. The lead female, aside from Alicia Weir as Abigail, the lead female on the crew is Melissa Barrera, who I know from the Scream films, the latter, the two most recent Scream films, although I believe she's been sacked from that franchise now, which is a bit of a shame. And she also played Vanessa in The Heights, which was one of my favourites a few years ago, the film version of Lin-Manuel Miranda's first musical that he wrote before Hamilton, and she played opposite Anthony Ramos in that. So I also know she's got a fair set of pipes on her, but she seems to quite enjoy the horror movie, not victim, not damsel in distress, tiny but mighty type thing. So she's the medic of the crew. The excellent Catherine Newton, who I really like, who plays the female lead in the film Freaky from a few years ago that I really enjoyed, she is on the crew as well. She's the hacker tech expert person. You've got a big sort of muscly fella who I didn't recognise from anything, Dan Stevens, who's a British actor, best known for Downton Abbey and for playing Beast in the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast opposite Emma Watson. he is in the crew. And then the actor Angus Cloud, who sadly passed away at the age of, I think, 25 from a drug overdose, he's also on the crew. He's the driver. It's quite sad because he's actually playing a sort of a spaced out, maybe drug addled type of character. And I know he was in the HBO series Euphoria as well, although I've never seen it. And when I saw his name on the opening credits, Angus Cloud, I thought, I recognise that name, but I don't know why. As I say, I've never seen Euphoria. And then at the end of the film, it was in memory of, and that was what triggered my memory that, yeah, he has passed away since he made the film, which is sad. So it's quite a small cast. Like I say, Alicia Weir is excellent as Abigail. It's a very physical role. She does quite a lot of ballet dancing while trying to eat people. And I just... so it's going to sound really weird. I quite like kids in horror films, especially when they're the monster. It's quite good fun, and she starts so sweet and innocent and like, oh no, what's happening? I've been kidnapped, to then literally trying to rip people's heads off, which is quite good fun. And there's the whole thing. I like films that are set in one location. So apart from the actual kidnap at the beginning and the journey to the property, you're then in that one house and it's locked down. So I like stuff like that. It made me think of like Ready or Not. Just things where, you know, we have to hang on till daylight type thing. So you have to get creative then with your environment if you're stuck in one location. And I think it did that really well. It was thoroughly watchable. I just think, yeah, it was a tiny bit on the long side. It could have been trimmed a little bit. But yeah, it was good fun. It was very violent and very gory and not particularly scary. There was some good laughs in there as well. Again, when you've got like a crew of people and they don't know each other, and you kind of get the banter and the riffing and the sort of bouncing off each other, but the sarcasm, and, you know, there was some really, really good lines, and I did laugh out loud a couple of times. So yeah, I will definitely say I was entertained. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. So yeah, thumbs up from me. Would recommend. Not amazing, but very entertaining and watchable. And funnily enough, that is what my three lovely friends are on their way into now, so I hope they enjoy it too. Next film I think will be Challengers next week, but whatever it is I see next, I will pop my review up here. I never say this, but if you do enjoy my reviews, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, because, you know, who doesn't want their films reviewed by a middle-aged woman in a car park? Okay, that's it from me. Katie out.